everything she touches, and everything she touches changes. She changes everything she touches, and everything she touches changes. I know an old woman who weaves the night sky. See how she spins, see her fingers fly. She weaves within us, beginning to end. Our grandmother, sister, and friend. She is the weaver, and we are the web. She is the needle, and we are the thread. She changes everything she touches, and everything she touches changes. She changes everything she touches, and everything she touches changes. One more. I know an old woman who weaves the night sky. See how she spins, see her fingers fly. She weaves within us, beginning to end. Our grandmother, sister, and friend. She is the weaver, and we are the web. She is the needle, and we are the thread. Oh, she changes everything she touches, and everything she touches changes. She changes everything she touches, and everything she touches changes. Beautiful, blessed be. So we will continue on now with creating our sacred space. And so if you would, wherever it is that you are, get as comfortable as you can in the seat where you are seated. Let's take a nice deep breath together. Oh, do that again a little bit more slowly this time. A nice deep cleansing breath. And as you're breathing nice and evenly and deeply, just take a moment now and call all the pieces and parts of you to come home. So any part of you that is distracted, if your mind's on anything else, and there is so much that our minds are on these days, any part of you projected into your future or lagging somewhere in your past, gently ask all the pieces and parts of you to come home now so you can be here now. And breathe into that presence. And on your next exhale, imagine that you begin to ground yourself to the earth by imagining that beautiful grounding cord that reaches from the base of your spine down through wherever it is you're seated, down through the floor, the foundation of the building, wherever you are, or if you're outdoors, then straight down into our beautiful Mother Earth. With every breath, keep sending down your big, strong taproot into the earth and feel how she opens to receive your energy as you connect deeply to her by sending that root down, down, further down, as deeply as it needs to go so that you feel connected to her and very held by her. And when that taproot reaches its level down there, send out smaller branches, reaching out, taking hold. Notice how much stronger you feel immediately, having tapped in to the unconditional love of the mother. Imagine now that those roots are porous and begin to drink the energy of Mother Earth up into them. Draw that energy up to the main taproot, all the way up, knowing that what you're drinking up is her nurturance and her sustenance, her strength, her love, her beauty. Imagine it transferring over into your spine. Draw that energy, her beautiful love, all the way up to your heart. And when she arrives there, take a deep breath to make more room. And let the energy of Mother Earth rest there in your heart. Good. Now in your mind's eye, look up to the heavens and find the moon. She is waning now in her crone phase. She's in Leo today. And so let's take that beautiful, leonine, dramatic, warm, radiant moonlight and feel as she pours down through the heavens, down through your crown, down through your head and neck, making her way into your heart. And when she arrives there, once more, breathe deeply to make more room for her. Excellent. Now the earth and the moon reside there in your heart. Once more, look to the heavens and find the sun. He is in Virgo, that strong, healing, beautiful Virgo light, warm and radiant. And imagine the sunlight pouring down onto you and into you. Drink in that gold from your crown and draw him into your heart. Now, all three of these cosmic energies, earth, moon, and sun, are there in our hearts. And in a moment, I'm going to ask us to take a deep collective breath together. And on the exhale, let's use our breath to push these cosmic energies straight forward outside of our body, and we'll imagine it swirling all around us, but not only us individually, but reaching to each and every one who is a part of this service now, and even to those who will view it later. And in this way, we'll create the sacred space. So here we go. Nice deep breath. And out it goes. In this way, we say we have stepped between the worlds. What is between the worlds is not affected by the worlds, but can heal and transform. And so we say, our circle is cast in perfect love and perfect trust. Blessed be. All right, we're going to go over to Pam Gerke, who is going to sing in the directions for us now. We can sing along with her.
To the spirits in the north. Spirits of the earth, carry me. Spirits of the earth, carry me home. Spirits of the earth, carry me home to my heart. To the spirits in the east. Spirits of the air, carry me. Spirits of the air, carry me home. Spirits of the air, carry me home to my heart. And to the spirits in the south. Spirits of the fire, carry me. Spirits of the fire, carry me home. Spirits of the fire, carry me home to my heart. And to the spirits in the west. Spirits of the water, carry me. Spirits of the water, carry me home. Spirits of the water, carry me home to my heart. And to the center space. Spirits of the center, carry me. Spirits of the center, carry me home. Spirits of the center, carry me home to my heart. Blessed be.
Blessed be. Thank you, Pam. And now over to Brianne for the invocation.
Holy Demeter, great grain mother, be with us. Blessed Persephone, daughter of love and passion, be with us. Powerful Hades, magnet to the underworld, be with us. Wise Hecate, catalyst for the inevitable, be with us. Today we seek to embrace the dark, be with us. To embrace the wisdom of nature's cycles, be with us. To prepare ourselves for the time of fallow, be with us. To embrace the coming darkness as necessary as rest, be with us. As autumn ripens and the days grow shorter, be with us. We gather on this fine day to be in your presence, be with us. Blessed be.
Blessed be. Thank you, Pam and Brianne. So, my friends, today is the 20th anniversary service of Gaia's Temple. And last night we had a magnificent celebration, which I believe you can watch on our YouTube channel. If you missed it last night, it was just beautiful. We had the most amazing talent and congregants who just came and witnessed and participated. It was just really a beautiful, beautiful evening, a worthy celebration of our 2 decades of service. So you, like I said, you can watch it on the YouTube channel. And also, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, I'd be grateful if you do that. The more people that subscribe, the more we rise in their algorithms, which helps us with the ministry. So I am honored to have offered 20 years of these services. It seems like 20 years ago was so long ago, and it also just flew by. Anyway, but here we are once again in September, which brings the Sabbath of the autumnal equinox. Night and day, equal night, equal day, as we enter into the dark half of the wheel. This year it falls on September 22nd, which I believe is a Tuesday, at 6:31 a.m. when the sun goes into Libra. The season of the Sabbath of Mabon at the autumn equinox is actually the height of autumn. It is the time of harvest, and we can really notice that in the changing quality of light. It's a time to stop and reflect on the season, to pull our collars close against the cooling temps and brave the coming darkness. It is at the autumnal equinox that we remember that the wheel is also a spiral.
Onward we go round the spiral, touching darkness, touching light. Twice each turn we rest in balance. Make choices on this night. Make choices on this night. Onward we go round the spiral. Onward we go round the spiral. Touching darkness, twice each balance. Make choices on this night. Make choices on this night. Onward we go round the spiral. Onward we go round the spiral. Touching darkness, rest in balance. Make choices on this night. Make choices on this night. Make choices on this night. Onward we go round the spiral, touching darkness, touching light. Twice each turn we rest in balance. Make choices on this night. Make choices on this night. Onward we go round the spiral, touching darkness, touching light. Twice each turn we rest in balance. Make choices on this night. Make choices on this night.
Each year at the September service, I tell the tale of the ancient Greek myth, the great grain mother Demeter and her maiden daughter Persephone. And I do that for several reasons. First, it's the story that kicked off this ministry 20 years ago, so it has become a tradition. Secondly, because it's seasonally appropriate. And third, because it gives us a beautiful template for understanding the life cycle and the wisdom of nature. And we are all about the wisdom of nature here in Gaia's Temple. I tell what I say is an alternative myth, but an alternative version of the myth, but I believe that it probably was the actual story before a patriarchal overlay happened around the classical period in Greece. And I tell this alternative that removes the violence and the abduction and the rape of Persephone. And I do that because I believe that we need to remove those from our stories if we are going to remove them from our reality, particularly because the story told with the rape and abduction of Persephone sort of justifies it as natural with the life cycle. And I think that if we keep thinking of violence as natural, then we're going to keep doing it. So I tell the alternative, what I call the alternative myth. Over the years, I've emphasized different aspects or characters of this story because it's so rich. There's just so much to it. So while the arc of the myth remains the same, the action of it changes a bit, depending on the theme that I want to focus on. Now, all good stories have multiple meanings to them, and in the telling of today's tale, we'll witness the pain and rage of a mother betrayed by her brothers, the growth and maturity of a daughter who comes of age, and ultimately the acceptance of wholeness, even when we might not like some components of that wholeness. And so, for the 20th time in Gaia's temple, here is the story of the great grain mother Demeter, who had a beautiful daughter named Persephone. The two were very close, and the love and respect between them knew no bounds. Wise Demeter watched as her daughter grew, and she taught her how to be a very good goddess. Like most mothers, she was very attached to her daughter, and therefore she had a bit of difficulty letting her go as she began to mature. She knew in her heart that her daughter would come of age, and she would need to create her own life to test the waters of her own experience as a young woman. And Demeter's heart ached with the knowledge that this surely meant Persephone would soon be leaving. Demeter worried about this. She tried not to think about it. She tried to feel okay about it. And in truth, she did all three. One day, Persephone was playing in a meadow of wildflowers. The sun was shining, the air was warm and fragrant. It was a perfect and beautiful day. And far up above this meadow, from his vantage point up on Mount Olympus, Zeus looked down, and he spied Demeter's daughter and noticed her beauty. He remembered a recent conversation he'd had with Hades, the lord of the underworld. Hades had been complaining about his loneliness and had asked Zeus if he knew of a suitable mate. He was tired of roaming alone in his palace below ground. He was ready to share love. Zeus had then talked to Hecate, the wise crone, seeking her help in the matter. And Hecate agreed that when the time was right for Hades to be wed, she would make sure that the match was made. But she wanted to make sure that the match was made from love. And she promised that she would do her part, she would do her magic to bring them together when the right one for Hades appeared. Now, as Zeus observed the maiden in the field of flowers below, he brought Persephone to Hecate's attention, and as if by magic, Hecate appeared in the meadow. And just as Persephone lay down and fell into a deep nap, the wise crone knew that with both Persephone fast asleep and Demeter nowhere to be seen, the time was now to do her part in keeping the cycle turning. She knew that Hades had been wanting to find a mate, and she knew that Persephone would be that mate. She also knew that Demeter would never willingly consent to this match, so reluctant was she to let her daughter grow up for fear of losing her. And so, with the power of her immortal hand, a spell was laid upon the sleeping maiden. Whispering into her ear, she caused visions of the lands below to enter into Persephone's dreams, and she charged Persephone to see what was transpiring in the dark of the underworld, and this is what Demeter's daughter saw. The great king Hades was below, downcast and weeping in loneliness. On a throne of carved black marble, he sat in shadow, bent over as one who is forlorn and lost. Beside him was an empty throne, and upon it lay a jeweled silver crown. Hades then began to sing. Low and ominous, the song bespoke such yearning that all the souls below began to mourn along with him. Hades sang until his deep and haunting sounds found the ear of fair Persephone above, and in her dream she could see that King Hades could see her sleeping in the above. She felt his sadness and also noticed how handsome he was. And her heart flooded with love and compassion. Her heart had awakened. It had opened to the Lord of the underworld. And now her only wish was to join him and to bring light and beauty to that dark place. She wished to bring him the essence of the sun and the beautiful flowers she had known in the bright world above. She could see nor think of nothing but the swarthy god who had already stolen her heart. And Hades had seen her. This was no fleeting snip of a story from above, no apparition that would disappear on the next exhale. This was a real goddess of flesh and blood whose eyes held his in equal fascination, awakening him a passion that he could no longer keep under restraint. And so from his palace of darkness, he went to the grotto of black stallions and harnessed the steeds to their waiting chariot. He jumped in, and just before he snapped the reins, he called out to her, "Persephone!" And the sound of her own name caused her to stir, and she woke to find her grandmother Hecate beside her. Hecate raised her ancient divine hand across the meadow, and there appeared flame. The poppies shone a deep blood red before they were extinguished in the holy fire. And beyond the red and glittering flame, the earth burst asunder. Great mounds of earth spewed out as black stallions entered the world, and the god of the underworld drew up in his chariot and waited. His penetrating gaze locked with Persephone's once more, and a jolt sped through him as he held perfectly still, attempting to steady his fast-pounding heart, hoping against hope that the fates were giving him someone to love, someone he could cherish and satisfy, someone to share his life with down to the very depths of it. Hecate raised Persephone from the ground as fear and courage awoke together in the maiden's heart. She was steadfast, and she removed the crown of poppies from her head, and she cast it into the flames. Her gaze was fixed upon the face of her beloved, and uncrowned, she walked across the field of ember and flame to descend with the Lord of the Dark. Her veil, embroidered with lilies, was left behind. Into the waiting chariot she fled, the brilliance of passion filling her heart. Hades drove the black steeds around the earth once, and then down through the rocky chasm into the lands below. And as the holy daughter crossed over, the silver crown appeared upon her head. Once entering the underworld, she did not drink from the river of forgetfulness. Instead, she drank from the shining spring of memory, and the voices of the dead rang out in jubilation. The queen was received, and a celebration began. It was then that the powers of Aphrodite, the goddess of passionate love, entered the underworld. Into the palace, Persephone and Hades came, lit from within with love for one another. And on the couch of Aphrodite they lay, entwining their jeweled arms in the fiery embrace of love and passion. He enamored of her beauty and light, and she of his mystery and darkness. And so, through the power of love, did life become one with death. When their passion was, for the moment, spent, they quenched their thirst and refreshed themselves with scarlet seeds of juicy pomegranates. In time, Queen Persephone came to receive the souls of the dead, and this matured her. She reigned as the queen of justice and set herself to bring balance to the ledger of every shadowed soul who called out for her. And in this way, she helped the newly arrived to understand where they were and the reason for it, to reevaluate the life they just lived, to come to peace with the lessons, to determine what would come next, and most importantly, to rest without obligation so the soul can restore. On the surface of the earth, Demeter came looking for her precious daughter. As she approached the meadow where last she saw the sleeping maiden, she gasped in horror as she spied the smoke rising from the smoldering embers. Persephone was nowhere to be seen. The goddess of the grain found only her daughter's scorched veil, and panic seized her heart. "Persephone! Persephone!" she cried. "Where are you?" Her pace quickened, and she began to roam the earth looking for her daughter. Demeter searched and searched for 9 days and 9 nights unceasingly. She did not stop to rest or eat or to drink, and her thoughts were circular. They rolled over and over, the terror of finding her daughter missing, to wondering who might have seen her, to why they didn't tell her to come home, to what might have happened to her, to that she might be in danger, the heartbreak that she was gone, and back to the terror of finding her daughter missing. She searched for 9 days and 9 nights without stop, as she walked, looking everywhere for her little girl, her sweet daughter, the divine maiden who lived in her heart. Finally, she sought out Hecate and asked her if she had seen what had happened. And Hecate told her they must go to see Helios, the god of the sun, because from his vantage point in the sky, he must have seen everything. And when Helios tells them that Hades had arrived in his chariot and Persephone had left with him, Demeter instinctively knew that this was the work of her meddling brother, the all-powerful Zeus. Demeter's rage grew strong within her, and she uttered a powerful and dreaded curse.
Weather up the earth with my pain, may the rain disappear. May you struggle with hunger. Weather up the earth with my grief, every flower, every leaf. May it fall to the ground. Weather up the harvest with a curse, I reverse what I gave. I can give it no longer. Tangled are the tresses of my hair, I don't care anymore. Whether gold or gray, dry. My veins filled with sand, my heart is a desert, brittle and broken. Frozen, wasted, my feet as they're searching, are scorching the land. Suffer as I suffer, may you feel all the pain that I feel. Like a sea without water, deceived, denied, your greed, your lies splintered. Return me my daughter, return me my daughter. Curse you, curse you, curse you, my brothers. The sky and the shadow betrayed. Curse you, curse you, curse you, my brothers. Your temples untended and barren the land. Winter, my hands become knives, my eyes become crystals, empty, vacant, dry, unable to cry the last of my tears fell long from my eyes.
When the power of her curse was released upon the earth, Demeter's power withered with it. The light that usually emanated from this potent goddess, the light that indicated her divinity, faded. Bitter sadness shaped her mouth. Dark circles underlined her haunted eyes. She walked everywhere, exhausted yet unwilling to give up. Months went by with the land as barren as the goddess's heart. It seemed nothing would assuage her sorrow.
Autumn time, red leaves fall, while the weeping sky looks over all. Demeter sadly walks the land, the dying grasses in her hand. Autumn time, red leaves fall, autumn time, red leaves fall. Autumn time, red leaves fall. The dying grasses sadly walks the land. Autumn time, red leaves fall. Autumn time, red leaves fall. Autumn time, red leaves fall. The dying grasses sadly walks the land. The dying grasses sadly walks the land. The dying grasses in her hand.
By now, Persephone had become accustomed to Hades' way of gleaning from the upper world. And then, as if it was meant to be, she felt and heard the sounds of her mother's weeping, and it broke her heart in two, one half for her mother and one half for her beloved. She ruminated on her dilemma and could find no solution. The thought of leaving her beloved was unbearable, and yet the thought that her absence was the source of such pain for her mother, and consequently the searing hunger of all the people of the earth, filled her with guilt and remorse, and she withdrew into herself so that even the light she had brought into the darkness began to wane. And just before that light went out, she sought help outside of herself. Hecate, the crone goddess of wisdom, appeared before her. The presence of her loving grandmother was great comfort. Holy Queen, Hecate said to her, ease your heart of its burden of sadness. Come now, listen to my plan. Stay with your beloved Hades from the time the grain is stored to the time it is again planted. Then rise to work with your holy mother as before. The choice is yours. You chose to come here, and yours is the choice to go. Have pity on those above who cry to Demeter to return the land's fertility. They cannot wait forever, else all will be below, and none above. The heart of the holy daughter filled with gratitude for the wisdom of the crone, and she fell into the old and loving arms and hugged her fiercely. Then she ran to tell Hades of the new plan. Hades was so relieved to see the light in Persephone's eyes once more. He trusted the wisdom of the plan, even though he knew he would miss her terribly once she returned to the surface of the earth. He loved Persephone as deep as the underworld itself, more so even, beyond measure. The god loved his goddess utterly, and so he followed the depth of that love and agreed to the plan without hesitation. Wise Hades, good Hades. Her kiss, which neither of them would soon forget, assured him that he had pleased her. But before the kiss could seduce them further, and with an aching sob in her breast, Persephone laid down her silver crown and crossed over to earth. Demeter was overjoyed to see her daughter again, to know that she was safe, and to observe how she had grown. They clung to one another in a loving hug for some time, and their tears flowed. The earth greened once more. The maiden was received by the mother, and the crone crowned them both with evergreen and laurel. Hecate would both precede and follow Persephone thereafter. Demeter promised eternal life to all those who would come and experience and keep the mysteries of life and death and life again within their initiated souls. Still, in her heart of hearts, Demeter knew she would never have her daughter completely as she once had, as the innocent little maiden whose heart was hers alone. She knew that during the time Persephone returned to the underworld, to her beloved, she would not have the will to make the land green again without the blossoming maiden. She knew that she must accept this as surely as the passing of time. She knew that just as Hades had to wait until each autumn to see his beloved again, that she must take comfort in the knowing that the spring would always herald Persephone's return.
Six for the darkness and six for the light. Six for the darkness and six for the light. Six for the darkness and six for the light. Six for the darkness and six for the light. And so this winter, that other sea of sorrow will soon be over, and I will mourn the shadow and lose the darkness that held me soft within his arms, and leave my lover under the surface. I am as radiant as light. There is a beauty that's hidden deep within the night, and I have found it, but I am called away and don't want to leave it. I don't want to leave it. Once I was maiden, and I will maiden be again. And though the springtime will see me dancing with the flowers, when I'm dancing, no other care will weigh my heart. I am resisting. Oh, blessed darkness, oh, blessed sanctuary of bone, where I have hidden, where I have come to be alone. Oh, blessed darkness, I am at one with you, and now I must leave you. Now I must leave you. 6 for the darkness and 6 for the light. 6 for the darkness and 6 for the light. 6 for the darkness and 6 for the light. 6 for the darkness and 6 for the light.
Thank you so much, Wendy. Oh, how I love this tale. I never tire of this tale, a story of the inevitable. You know, we can look at that and we can know that that is telling us that our children are going to grow up, they're going to start lives of their own, and they're going to have to face their own challenges, and we can't face those challenges for them. And we can look at it simply from that viewpoint, which is heart-wrenching enough. And as I said before, each year I focus on a different aspect of this story in the teaching part. And today I want to focus on the exact moment that Demeter discovers that Persephone is missing. She goes back to find her, and instead she finds the meadow scorched and in flame and embers, and only finds her daughter's veil. And she is filled with terror and horror and panic. You know, when I go back each year and I start to write the service, of course, I read through the story once again. And, you know, when I came upon this part and Hecate raises her immortal hand and the field becomes flame, you know, I couldn't help but think about how the West Coast is like going up in flames, you know, it's like, whoa. So I think of that as, oh, those are the flames of passion, you know, and Persephone walks across this hot, passionate, you know, meadow to her lover, and how exciting that is. And this time it just like the fear of the flame and of fire just was so much stronger in my consciousness than it's ever been. And I just thought of, oh my goodness, I mean, can you imagine coming upon a scene like that and your child is missing? How horrible that is. And it's also the not knowing, you know, like not knowing where she is. When she finally goes to Hecate, and Hecate's, which is interesting that Hecate doesn't say, oh yeah, sure, I'm the one I cast the spell and made sure this happened. Hecate doesn't tell her that. She says, oh, let's ask the sun, because he was above and he saw everything. And when Helios tells her, oh yeah, Hades came up and Persephone left with him, She instinctively knows that it was her meddling brother, and she is filled with rage, and she is enraged by the betrayal. And that's why she curses the land, which all makes perfect sense. We can look at that through the like sort of emotional arc, like, oh, really? I'm a powerful goddess. You just did this. You just stole my daughter. You didn't come. You didn't ask my permission. You didn't talk to me about it. This just happened. This whole thing was arranged behind my back. I didn't know a thing about it. Really? Watch this, right? And then from her rage, she causes this fallow time. And so when we look at that, one thing I was thinking about is, when we have strong emotions like that, we usually don't do things in a good way. We usually respond dramatically. It means a dramatic situation to begin with. And so our response or our reactions are usually just as dramatic. When that sort of things happen, especially when we are betrayed or when we are enraged, we act out, and we act out big. And in the moment of doing that, we're thinking how it is right action to, be vengeful and to cause other people to suffer, because we don't like to suffer on our own, right? Misery loves company. Oh, I'm suffering. This is what you did. I'm going to do it back. This is just sort of a natural response, really. But it's important for us to think about that, because our actions don't just affect ourselves. Everything that we do affects everything around us, and those around us, particularly in our close inner circle. If we are the great green goddess like Demeter, well, then we can affect everyone on earth. But even in our interactions, person to person, the way that we behave, the way that we respond, the way that we react is not just, we are not the only ones affected by it. And so I think there is a level of growth and maturity that we reach when we realize, okay, I'm really angry right now. And I have seen in my past when I'm angry that I do or say things that later I come to regret, and I have to either go and clean up, or I can never make it right again. So one way we can look at this story is to recognize this particular moment here. And when we are thrust into a dire emotional situation, that is the time to remember that responding from that place usually does not bring the results that we want or that we are going to be happy with later. So that was just one thing that I wanted to point out about the story today. And the other is, I'm always asking that question, the great what if? What if, like what if? What if Demeter had been able to accept that her daughter was coming of age? What if she'd been able to do that? They wouldn't have had to hide the plan from her. I mean, Hades might have come to her and felt that he could ask for her daughter's hand in marriage. It could have been a completely different situation. They wouldn't have had to conspire. Nobody would have had to lie. She wouldn't have felt this betrayal. Nobody would have had to starve. Of course, if that didn't happen, we wouldn't have a story, right? All stories need a conflict. They need the drama in order to keep us engaged in the story. So of course it kind of had to happen this way. But when we do look at these stories archetypally, we look at the characters and we see, oh, their folly is our lesson. Well, they made that mistake. They did that misstep. They didn't communicate well, or something went awry there and it caused all this trouble. Maybe that can make me think, maybe I need to be a little bit more forthcoming in my plans. Maybe I should ask permission for certain things. It's just their folly can be our lesson. And I think that's a really beautiful takeaway here. So what I also love so much about this story, of course, is that it prepares us for the dark half of the wheel. What if, again, the big question, what if we learn to embrace the dark, to reclaim it as the time of resting and restoration? What if we were able to truly accept this aspect of life, which is cyclical? Like, we know that intellectually. Oh, life is cyclical. The seasons go round and round. We go around the sun. It's just nature is telling us that it is cyclical. And we know this intellectually. And yet we have our emotions and feelings when it comes to entering into the dark half, and we don't want to do it. We want to just stay in the bright, sunny, warm time of spring and summer. there will be days in the sun, right? But they will be followed by days in fallow, and then those will be followed by days in the sun. This is the wisdom of that magnificent line in this story, that Hecate both precedes and follows Persephone hereafter. And really what that means is that the seed from within becomes the next life that is carrying the seed within, that becomes the next life. And so that is before and after, as we continue on in the cycle of life. It is magnificent. And it's magnificent because it's true. And if we turn toward this truth and embrace it, we have an easier time of all of it, including the dark. So let's take a moment now and go within, do a little reflection. So if you take a nice deep breath, reestablish your connection to your grounding cord. I don't have a particularly guided visualization today, but I do want us to just reflect on a few things as we bring to mind the coming dark half of this wheel, the coming of autumn and winter, because we are on the brink of that. And so we can reflect for a moment on how we can prepare ourselves so we, like Persephone, can not just endure, but embrace the dark. In fact, we might even run into the chariot to get there. Perhaps we might even find our greatest love there, or our power, or our soul's purpose, and that can make that darkness quite attractive. So in preparing for the seasons of autumn and winter, we prepare on many different levels, and we can just look at the very first level, the physical level. So let's just take a moment now and think, okay, as we are going into the darker half of the wheel, what can we do to prepare on a physical level? Will we, make sure we have our warmer clothing and, sew up the hole in our pocket in our coat, or make sure we get that fleece jacket out? Or will we stock up the pantry a little bit more? Will we boost our immune systems, which is always a good idea right now, especially now during this pandemic? What can we do to prepare ourselves a little bit on the physical level? So let's just take a quick second and think about that and bring to mind a way you can do that in preparation. Good. Just one or two things that you bring to your consciousness. And the next level is on the mental level, right? We have to gear our minds toward entering into the dark as well. And so what are the things that we can do to prepare our minds and our consciousness for this? Maybe we can remind ourselves, and as often as we need to, that the seasons of autumn and winter are as temporal as spring and summer. We can remain mindful of that. We can also decide that there might be some learning that we want to do this autumn and winter that can occupy our minds, learn something new so that our minds can remain a little bit active that way. We can line up some cozy indoor projects that we want to do, or decide on some books that we've been wanting to read. So take a moment now and just reflect for a second or two on how you can prepare your mind for the coming dark half of the wheel. Good, just a few things to bring into your consciousness. And then the next level that we need to prepare ourselves on is the emotional level, the way that we feel about things. And so we might prepare by bringing to mind what brings us comfort. What are the things we can make sure we have nearby, if possible, to bring us comfort during this time? Is it soothing music, or having, your favorite movie around? Or there's certain things that you like to cook and eat? Or maybe you'll journal, that cozy blanket and a cup of tea, or connecting with loved ones, even if it has to be virtually at this time. So what are the things, bring to mind a few things that can bring you comfort when your emotions need comforting? Good. Just a few things to bring to mind for your emotional comfort during the dark half. And now the final level is a spiritual level. So, what are the things that you can do to keep your spirits in not in line or in check, but your spirits sort of pumped and operative and supported? Are there meditations you can do, or maybe practicing how or learning how to meditate? What kind of spiritual practice might you do? What prayers might you engage in, or rituals that you have? Now, granted, this is going to be a very different winter, and a lot of the wintertime rituals, particularly around the holidays, are going to be very different this year than they've been if we can't gather with the people we're used to gathering with. So take a moment now and think of ways that you can keep your spirits lifted, and what sort of rituals might replace or restore the usual traditions if we can't do them. So take a moment now and bring to mind a few of those for your spirit. Good. So we've brought to mind a few things on the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual level to help us prepare for going into the dark half of the wheel. So take a nice deep breath. Gently bring yourself back here. Open your eyes when you feel ready. It's good to have just kind of a few things close under our belt to help us embrace the dark. So, another beautiful thing about the magnificent cycle, the life cycle, and the seasonal cycle is that nature makes sure that we are taken care of before fallow by providing us with a bounty to harvest. And that harvest is happening right now. The very least that we can do is to bless it with our gratitude. And so we have a lovely tradition here in Gaia's temple. Our trio of singers they sing a blessing over beautiful apples of wisdom each year. And I brought an apple in from my apple tree. Isn't that a beauty? Look at that beautiful apple. So I'm going to hold that here. And so we will once again welcome Kimberly Agbayani, Pamela Gerke, and Elizabeth Zinda as they sing the Apple Wassail song.
We praise your roots that downward go. We praise your branches reaching high, bearing leaves that touch the sky. In the spring with blossoms crowned, in fall apples ripe and round, bless the flower and bless the seed, and bless the fruit of every tree. May winter's cold to you be kind. May you blossom in the spring sunshine. May gentle rain in its season fall. May you be loved by one and all. In the spring with blossoms crowned, in fall apples ripe and round, bless the flower and bless the seed, and bless the fruit of every tree. We thank you for your blossom sweet. We thank you for the fruit we eat. Receive our thanks for all you give. Grow in joy, long may you live. blossoms crowned, in fall apples ripe and round. Bless the flower and bless the seed, and bless the fruit of every tree. In the spring with blossoms crowned, in fall apples ripe and round. Bless the flower and bless the seed, and bless the fruit of every tree.
Thank you, ladies. That song chokes me up every year. Every year. So beautiful. So I am so grateful to each and every one of you who meet with me here each month, and to those of you who might be here for the first time today and hopefully not the last. I hope you feel nourished by the spiritual food for thought offered. Thank you for your trust. Your participation in and support of Gaia's Temple just means the world to me and this community. And as we turn toward the dark half of the wheel, may today's story of the cyclical nature of life bring you solace. May it help you embrace the dark and bring you courage for the time ahead. May the darkness bring you softness and depth and restoration and time for reflection. May your harvest be bountiful and plenty with all the things that you love best. May you preserve it to last till the fallow time recedes once more and gives way to spring. And may the goddess and God bless you and keep you and yours safe and healthy. Blessed be. Oh my goodness, thank you so much. Thank you everybody who participated here. Wow, it's really something. So we are going to open up the floor now for our community prayers. So if you have on the side of your screen, the participants list, you can click on participants on the bottom of the screen, and a little thing will come up on the side of the screen. At the very bottom of the participants list, there's something for you to click on to raise your hand. And when you do that, then I think it was Tema who is going to be doing that, or we designated one person who is going to open up your screen so that you can offer your prayers. When you're finished with your prayer, say, "Blessed be," and we know you are finished, and we'll go on to the next person. So feel free to raise your hand.
I just want prayers to go out for all the parents who are figuring out this moment. It's very real for me, and schooling at home and working from home. And a prayer for love and strength. Blessed be.
Blessed be.
I'd like to share a prayer of gratitude to Judith and to this community, to Pam and Kim for an opportunity to adjust our tradition to sing these songs for you today and to participate in this way, and for the continuity of this community through the pandemic. And I'd also, so thank you for that. Also a prayer of safety for everybody touched by these fires, and a prayer to the fire to bring it down and to refocus into good energy for the healing of the world, and to shift the direction of destruction to healing. Blessed be.
Blessed be. Thank you.
I have a really good friend who is being induced to go into labor on Thursday to have her firstborn. And she's a little nervous with smoke and with COVID and everything going on. And so a prayer of health, and both for her and her baby and her family, that everyone is delivered safely and it is a smooth and loving and wonderful process. So a prayer of loving and healing to her. Blessed be.
Blessed be. Any other prayers?
Yes, I got one.
There's one. Yay.
I'd like to say a prayer for all of us dealing with everything that we're dealing with. It has been so mentally difficult and so emotionally difficult, and just for all of us to continue to get through this and continue to, I don't know, continue to deal with the grief and the pain and the fear. So we have been strong, but we need to continue to be strong. And I wish that for all of us. Blessed be.
Blessed be. Thank you.
Hi. I'd like to say a prayer for my kids, both on the peninsula, Tim and his wife, uh, Chris, and for my son, Chris and Jackie, and Jeff, who live in Yakima and are experiencing a lot of the smoke as well. May their health be good, and may they not get sick from the smoke, and may they survive the pandemic as well. Blessed be.
Blessed be.
And I would like to humbly raise a prayer for support for myself. I have had 3 wonderful lives in this body, and I'm about to start a 4th one, but it's hard to get it off the ground. I have to leave Seattle, find another place to live, and get back to the country I left 20 years ago. It's not going to be easy, but I hope to succeed. That's my prayer. Please, for support and success. Thank you. Blessed be.
Blessed be.
I'd like to ask for a prayer of support to my uncle's family. He passed away over the weekend from COVID, and my aunt has tested positive, and I can't imagine what it feels like to bury a loved one without at least a regular funeral to grieve and honor them. So blessings to my relatives and all of us that love and miss my Uncle Bruff. And also blessings of love and congratulations and joy for my cousin who got married yesterday, Michelle Veet, and her new husband, Morton Blix. They had a really beautiful online COVID-free wedding yesterday that they literally shouted their vows at the top of a tower in the middle of the forest, and it was just beautiful. So much love and happiness to them. Blessed be.
Blessed be.
I want to say a prayer for Steph's dad, Steve Frenzel, who was diagnosed with terminal spinal cancer, and love and support to him as he nears this transition of this life. And prayers to Steph and his brother and sister as they navigate through these last months with their father, and just trying to share memories with him and a meaningful quality of life and beautiful memories that they'll be able to take with them. Blessed be.
Blessed be. Any other prayers, my friends?
I'd like to.
Brandon, I think you're up. Oh, but you're muted. You have to unmute yourself, Brandon.
I'm sorry, I picked later because somebody else started to speak, so I tried to get back in the background. But anyway, here I am. I'd like to raise a prayer of the deepest gratitude to you, Judith, for providing such a special, unique spiritual home to so many people for all these years, month after month after month, bringing messages of hope and joy, cohesion and unity. And your heart is so huge that you can be such a grounded presence for so many people. I always feel supported by you and loved by you. And I know that that's what you bring to all these people. And I find you to just be an amazing inspiration. And I want to thank you so much. I hope we never take this temple for granted. And I want to also thank Noemi too, and the team that the two of you are for bringing this to us so continuously and letting us count on that. You two are rocks, and I am grateful. I love the whole community, and thank you. Blessed be.
Blessed be. Blessed be. Thank you, Brandon. Anyone else?
I'd like to offer a prayer of thanks for, I housed a friend of mine who lives down in Bonnie Lake at Sumner this week. Their whole family of 6 was here. And they were able to return to their home safe and sound. It was very frightening for them. And I can just imagine what the rest of the world is going through California. I have friends that have evacuated in Oregon as well. And just asking for love and peace to all of them and support and a giant hug and bring the rains down, please. Blessed be.
Blessed be.
Also, I'd like to express a prayer of healing for my family in Oregon who's impacted by the smoke. So far, not directly by the fire, but a lot by the smoke. And dear friends who had to evacuate and who've seen their childhood homes burned to the ground. And it's just really sad. And also our sister in spirit, Lynn Brevig, grew up in California and has her family in California. Just heartbreaking for seeing the redwoods burn. And so a prayer that prayer for safety and well-being, and also a prayer that we will bring more consciousness earlier to anticipate that we're in a time where this is likely, so that we can bring preparation, consciousness, anti-fire campaigns, just safety measures, everything. We need to live differently. So hopefully we can bring that about. And then a prayer of gratitude, Judith, for you and everything you've done. I've been pretty loosely associated in recent times, but I got to tell you, you know, I've got that anchor in there from participating and being in Sacred Fire Choir. It's just, so thank you so very much. Every time I hear you speak, I'm just, you know, I'm delighted. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Blessed be.
I forgot I had one more prayer. With these wildfires and this smoke, it always makes me reflect on our past board member, Carol Harper, who passed away with similar smoke. With it aggravated her asthma a few years ago. And so I wanted to send a prayer up to you, Carol. We're thinking about you, and we know that you're looking down on us from the other side. We love you, and blessed be.
Blessed be.
I would like to add a prayer for the wildfires, for those who are fighting the wildfires, the prison inmates who are dedicating their time in their service. I pray that when they are eventually able to leave the prison system, that they are able to use this as experience to continue to fight wildfires and be paid a proper living wage for it, and that they can fight those fires now and any future fires, and be safe in doing so. And I'd like to pray that we return to listening to indigenous land management practices, and we respect those who have stewarded this land for thousands and thousands of years without having this gross land destruction. So I pray that those in charge and that every single one of us can find our own ways to support those currently fighting the fires and support those who have managed the land in a way that didn't result in these fires, and that we can return to the earth and join in with those who have been worshiping the earth locally here for thousands of years. Blessed be.
Blessed be.
And I would like to add a prayer. I don't know how to get on. I don't have any idea.
You're on.
I'd like to add a prayer for the hearts of human beings. I would like us to start looking inside as we see these fires and realize that we have a responsibility to ourselves, to what we say to others, to what we think of others, and to how we act. So important. And if we remember that, if we can get, the prayer can come, the answer can come. Hecate, please speak to us. We need to know the truth, that kindness is the way. Blessed be.
Blessed be. Thank you. Anyone else? May all of our prayers, spoken and unspoken, be heard and answered. Blessed be.
Blessed be.
All right, so I think we are still have the view on Burgess, and maybe I can get speaker view again, I'm not sure. Okay, oh, there I am, hello, okay. Great, thank you. Okay, so this usually at this time after our community prayers, this is where we pass the love offering baskets in Gaia's temple for your generous donations. Of course, we can't do that here because it's a virtual sort of thing. But this is when I would ask for you to make a donation to keep our ministry going. Every little bit counts, so even the smallest amount is so we are so grateful for anything that comes in our way. And also to let you know, many of you already know this, that we tithe 10% of the monies that come into our love offering baskets on the day of the service. So all the money that we receive through the PayPal donation button on our website today, we take 10% of that amount and we tithe it to other nonprofit organizations. And we have a list of people that we rotate through. We decide who that list is going to be at the beginning of the year. But in these extraordinary times, we will sometimes go away from that list based on what the need is. And so today we are going to be tithing to the United Way of the Mid-Willamette Valley in Oregon because 500,000 people have been evacuated from their homes. That's 10% of Oregon's population. And so that is like the most dire place, I think, of these fires at this point. So know that 10% of whatever you donate to Gaia's Temple today is going directly toward the United Way to help those people and in any way that is needed there. So thank you in advance for your generous donations and for all of your love and support. Thank you, thank you. So I want to just give some credits for the songs because, you know, we usually have a printed program and I just want to make sure that we give credit where credit is due. The I Know an Old Woman chant that we did at the beginning was a Reclaiming Collective chant, so we can thank them for that. Onward We Go Round the Spiral was written by Marie Summerwood. Autumn Round was a song by Lebana. And the Apple Wassail was written by Starhawk and Ann Hill. And of course, we have those two magnificent songs that Wendy wrote herself and sang for us. So thank you to Kimberly Albiani, Pamela Gerke, Elizabeth Zinda, and Wendy Rule for your beautiful musical contributions to this service today. I'm so grateful to you. And also to let you know that you can find Wendy and Wendy's music at wendyrule.com, and you must get her, I mean, all of her albums are magnificent. I have a special favorite, which is the Persephone album, this 2 CD album. It's the most magnificent music about this story that you will ever hear. Do indeed get that. And also Pamela Gerke, there's two things I want to say about Pamela Gerke. She took these recordings of our three beautiful singers who sing that song, these songs for us every year, and she mastered them together and got them to us so that we could still have this music here today. I know she spent hours of time doing that. Pamela, I am so grateful to you for all of your support of me and Gaia's Temple and the music in every way. Mwah. Thank you so much for that. And also, Pamela has a nonprofit organization called, excuse me, Hearts, Healing and Arts, and you can find her work and all that is she's doing with her musical genius there. So please go check that out. I also want to thank my board of directors for everything, all the time, in every way, and particularly today to Noemi Shapiro, because we pulled, she, her, and I, we pulled this whole thing together. You know, the technological aspect of bringing these services to you now, especially as we try to get, you know, a little bit more complex with different music, and it's a constant technological challenge. And Noemi, thank you so much for your patience and all of your time figuring all this out and being our tech guru today for this service. So thank you. Okay, last little bit. Excuse me. We're going to stop the recording of this afterwards. And when the service is over, if you want to hang out, we'll have some fellowship after the service. So please hang and we can all chat and spend a little time saying hello. So I hope that you will join us for fellowship immediately after the service. And there's one more blessing for Gaia's Temple 20th anniversary that will be offered by the board president. So here she is, Karina Frenzel.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Judith. So I ask you all to hold your hands out for a blessing. May Gaia's Temple, our beloved house of worship for the goddess, thrive long into the future. May she continue to transform our lives, fulfill our souls, and lift our spirits. May her community grow and strengthen as time goes on, and may each turn of the wheel bring joy and depth and magic to all who participate in her offerings. Blessings on another 20 years at least. Blessed be.
Blessed be. Thank you so much, Karina. I'm going to ring the chime for that. Okay, so I'd like to end this service today with, oh, actually, yes, I'm going to end the service and then we're going to go to Pam, who's going to sing out the directions for us. I'd like to end the service today with this following poem by Ashleen O'Gaia from Celebrating the Seasons of Life. The wheel turns on, 'tis Mabentide, dawn and dusk abreast now ride. Darkness, brightness, calm and storms, the hand that holds the scythe transforms. I vow this wisdom shall be my own. Poise will let my power be known. From balance the wheel now turns toward the deep. Through winter, by vow and faith, I'll keep. Blessed be. All right, so we're going to go over to Pam. She's going to sing out the directions for us. We can sing along, although I will ask you to mute yourself so that we're only listening to Pam, and then we can sing along with her. Thank you.
To the spirits in the north, go if you must, stay if you will, within or without, we remain with you still. The spirits of the west, go if you must, stay if you will, within or without, we remain with you still. To the spirits in the south, go if you must, stay if you will, within or without, we remain with you still. To the spirits in the east, go if you must, stay if you will, within or without, we remain with you still. And the spirits of the center, go if you must, stay if you will, within or without, we remain with you still. Blessed be.
Blessed be. Thank you so much. Thank you, Pamela. All right, so I am going to sing The Circle is Open. Please sing it along with me, even though you're muted, and we'll call it a 20th anniversary Goddess Worship Service. The circle is open and unbroken. May the love of the Goddess go in our hearts. Merry meet and merry part, and merry meet again. Blessed be, blessed be, blessed be. Thank you so much, everyone. I hope you stay for some fellowship. You can unmute yourself and let's all say hello if you feel like hanging out. I hope you do. I'm going to go to gallery view so I can see everybody.